well, it's good, and that's what counts, right? Right. Lily's satisfied as not being the first to sample Haneko's creation, begins to consume the food in front of her. I find myself starting to watch her cheekbones gently. Blech. Let me start that again. Find myself staring as I watch her chopsticks touch the plate, their tips delicately poking and tracing to quickly ascertain the positions of the food as she dexterously picks it up. There's a lot of different words in that one. One might think she were a child playing with her food if not for her situation, though she does it with such care and thoughtlessness that this is simply how she eats this kind of meal. God damn it, damn. Not wanting to miss out, I start filling up myself. Hanako takes a different approach, waiting until Lily and I have our hands clear before quickly snatching up her share. Before long, the containers are empty, save for the still shelled rice container. Thank you, Hanako. That was filling. No, thank you for the bread. Yes, it would have been a disaster without that, if not for that. You're both welcome. But now I must be getting back. It's far too easy to be late after eating here. Yeah, I see what you mean. I think we'll clean up and then head off. Well then, good day. Lily leaving her cane, tapping away down the quiet hallway, Hanako and I quickly pack our things and stay seated, waiting for the bell. Together we stare out the window and into the endless azure sky. If it weren't for the paling of the bells, I would have sworn the time had stopped. The urge to skip class rises in my gut. I shoot a quick glance at Hanako, who shows no sign of moving either. Not just yet. The interval between the warning bell and the end of lunch bell passes in the blink of an eye. We really should go. People will freak out and start a search party if we skip. Hanako sighs. You're right. Start a search party. Slowly she rises to her feet and I follow suit. Silently we make our way up the old stairs to the 3rd floor and then to our classroom. At the door I take point and open the door ahead of Hanako, bowing my head down in an apology in advance. Sorry we're late, teacher. I am greeted not by my stern words, but nor by the angered instruction to take my seat, but simply by the silence created by 15 or so students trying not to laugh. Mattel, ever tardy, has yet to arrive. I can see how that'd be embarrassing. You're apologizing to nothing for being late when the teacher himself is late. The fact that Hanako and I arrived together is blatantly obvious. I have no idea how to do that. Nor what... I think it's just yeah, you get the idea. Make that about 14 students trying and 1 student failing. The lovers return. Ha ha ha. Yeah, thanks, you can calm down now. I step through the door where Hanako is firmly pressed against my back, hiding herself from the class. With my steps coming closer to my desk, she eventually breaks away from me and stiffly walks to her own. Her effort to mentally block everyone's presence in her mind has written clearly across her face. Quickly checking the door for any signs of teacher's arrival, I make a trip to Hanako's desk and whisper in her ear. Don't worry about me, she's always like this. I enjoyed myself today, don't sweat it, okay? Hanako nods her head behind her folded arms, still doesn't show her face. I yearn to stay and console her, but Matao picks that exact moment to enter the class, halfway through his lecture as I've started in the hallway. Which of course is directly proportionate to the change, but inversely proportional to the square of the distance. He's so engrossed in his speech that he doesn't even notice me sneaking back to my seat from Hanako's desk, while Matao spills something, rambles on. Misha leans over to me. The teacher may not have noticed your tardiness, but I did. That much is obvious from the show she just put on. I have been instructed to let you off the hook for today, but only for one condition. Oh, and what would that be? You help us this afternoon. I crane my neck to look over to Misha's shoulder. Shizuna's conveniently not making eye contact with me. Fine, just for today. I've already told you I'm not joining the student council, remember? Of course, doing so could be considered. She looks down in her notebook, obviously looking for her place in her script. Under duress, and hence would be against regulations. How very strange of you to be considerate of regulations now. Things should be done by the book. It's just that the book hasn't been written for every situation, so there are times when it can be ignored. And yet you two wonder why no one else wants to be in the student council. Ha! After poking at her tongue at me, Misha turns to her workbook and we battle our way through the latter half of the school day. Before I can even stand up, Misha and Shizune have placed their hands on both my shoulders. Hey, I said I'd help, damn. This is just insurance, Hisao. Insurance. Hisao? Hanako timidly tries to leave the room by circling around us, and I suddenly realize that this may be one chance to escape. Oh, hey Hanako, what's up? Hey, what makes you think you've got time to chat? Oh, relax, this won't take long. Sorry, Hanako, you were saying? I was going to the library and I thought... Hanako's thumbs dance around each other and her eyes flint around the room, looking elsewhere and everywhere but us. Sorry, Hanako, but Hisao has to come with us. We've got work to do. Oh, but you can help too if you'd like. So what about it, Hisao? Let's do it with that one. Hey, Shizune, I know I said I'd help, but I forgot I've already made plans. Besides, I've helped out more than my fair share last week, didn't I? I promise I'll make it up to you some other time. Shizune and Misha release their grip on me and have a long, deep, and silent conversation. Well, you have a point there. To be honest, we were only going to spend the rest of the budget on cakes. The cake is a lie! Do not trust the cake! So if you're not there, it works out better. More cake for us. Shizune about faces and marches at the door. Misha skips out after her. Well, that's a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Last week those two were like bloodhounds, or prison guards. Or maybe prison guards bred from bloodhounds. Can't believe I just thought that, let alone say it out loud. I think I need to move away from Kenji. Never mind, anyway, should we go to the library? Sure. Hanako follows me through the still crowded halls to the library, using me as a shield. As soon as we are through the door, Hanako bolts for the counter where Yuko is stacking books. Before I can catch up, Hanako has whispered something to her. You'd find that non-fiction, but I don't know where exactly. If you want, I can look it up. Never mind. Hey Yuko, what's all this about? Oh, Hisao, Hanako was just looking for a book on nothing. A book on nothing, in the non-fiction section. I shoot a glance at Yuko. She looks like she's about to be burst from the pressure of keeping Hanako's request secret. Yuko, what did... Chess. She's looking for a chess book. I made a mental note to never entrust Yuko with any important information. Yuko! You'd think there'd be an exclamation point after that one. I'm sorry, Hanako. It just slipped out. Well, it's not a secret anymore. Come on, I'll give you a hand. I should really brush up on my skills too. Okay. Yuko disappears behind the counter in shame as Hanako and I wander into the depths of the non-fiction section. I know this is supposed to be a system for categorizing these books, but I don't see how anyone can decipher it without spending half of their life researching it. That's probably why librarians are neurotic. Towards the end of the aisle, between a book on card tricks and some book on kids games, stands a single book bearing the title Chess Tactics with Champions. CTFC. That sounds weird. Before I can reach for it, Hanako has the book in her hands, clutching it to her chest. Well, I guess that's yours then. Mind if I borrow it when you're finished? Sure, I haven't been playing against anyone but Lily before, so I thought, damn, it's not like I was trying to beat Hanako deliberately or anything, but she seems to have taken it to heart. Then again, at least this means she wants to play me again. That's a plus, right? Huh. Well, it's not like I'm a master or anything, I just played a bit before. It occurs to me that I haven't told Hanako about my condition. I falter for a second, deciding to cover my tracks. That is a conversation for another day. Before I came here. Are you alright? Yeah, I was just remembering something. When I think about it, I shouldn't be afraid to tell Hanako about my condition. My time in the hospital, judging by my scars, she probably spent a fair amount of time in the hospital bed. But for some reason I can't bring it up. At least not today, not on short notice. Eager to break off the conversation, I grabbed a random book from the shelf. It's a book on the world's fastest roller coasters, published in 1982. Well, that's not very up to date, is it? But it should at least be interesting. Well, we both got books now. Shall we go sit down? Hanako seems to accept my bluff, and we head to the reading nook in the back of the library. Neither of us say a word. We simply open our books and start reading. I try to read my book, but it would seem that 1982 roller coasters weren't nearly as large as ones built in decades since. Most of the ones listed are made of wood. Something about it doesn't seem safe to it at all. If I'm gonna ride on something potentially dangerous, I want it to be made of steel or some kind of space-age alloy like titanium or whatever that is. I don't think titanium's very space-age, is it? That's not right. I quickly lose interest and my eyes wander across the reading area to rest on Hanako. Hanako seems absorbed in her book, flicking back and forth through the pages as if confirming what she had just read. I wonder if that's actually effective or is it just her overloading herself. She unconsciously brushes her hair from her face, temporarily revealing her scar tissue. I'm still not sure about the protocol here. Is it right to ask about her scars or her past? How long she's been in the hospital? It seems like all the questions you'd ask someone who just transferred to your school, translated into the local language. But to date, no one has directly asked me of any of them. Well, except Rin, but I don't think I could use her as a guide to proper social behavior. For the time being, I just keep my mouth shut. If someone wants to know something, then they'll tell you. Trying to force the issue might drive Hanako back into herself. Sorry to interrupt, but I have to close the library now. Alrighty? I checked my watch somehow. As I was lost in thought, nearly 2 hours had passed. Unbelievable! Do you want to check those books? I can do it on the way out. Please. I'm done. I'll just put it back on the way through. It wasn't as interesting as I first thought. Hanako marks her place with a slip of paper and stands up. The girls head to the counter and I return my book to where I think is the right shelf. Yuko scans Hanako's book with practiced precision, yet still manages to fumble it. Oh, there we go. Third time lucky. Since this is non-fiction, you can only have it for a week. That's okay. Yuko shuts down the library computer and heads us out the door. I didn't think it was this late already. You're the one who told us you had to close. Yes, but I know, but that was before I looked at the time.